Hello YouTube and welcome. This is going to be episode 26 in our Let's Play Kerbal Space Program series. If you're new to the channel, should be a link to the top right that you can click to take you to the playlist if you choose to go back and watch from the beginning. Now in this episode we have a contract to put a space station in orbit of Kerbal, which is the sun. I went ahead and grabbed it, build a new orbital station in a solar orbit. So this has to be in orbit around the star, and the requirements needs an antenna, a docking port, can generate power. It needs to be able to support 5 Kerbals, have 5,000 units of electric charge, maintain stability for 10 seconds, and put it in orbit of the sun. And it's a pretty good chunk of money, and this is also one of our requirements for our 50-point challenge, so we can do this contract and knock out one of our requirements. And I already built a ship. I'll go over it. Kerbal Orbital. I might have to make a couple of adjustments to this because I noticed I have a Terrier engine on top of my atomic engine here, and I also wanted to add, I don't know that we need this, but I'm going to add a reaction wheel here to help turn this thing a little quicker. So let me just go over it. You've seen the booster before, and you've seen the atomic engine. I've removed the oxidizer because we don't need it with the atomic engine. And I have way too many batteries. This gives me about 30,000 charge, which is way more than I need, so I'm going to take a few of these out. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I did upgrade my research. I grabbed the next electric one that gave me these bigger batteries here. It gives me these, they're 4,000 charge. So really 3 of these is all we need. That'll give us 12,000, which is probably more than we will need. So I'm going to just have 3 of these on here. It's 1, 2, 3, so let's take these off here. That'll help a little bit with the weight, but it's not a problem because we have plenty of delta V to do what we want to do here. So we have room for 3 crew members here, and then 2 in the cabin in the lab. And I also did go back, I recruited 1 more scientist so that we would have 2 scientists to go on board here. So let's grab level 1 Bob, and then our new scientist is only level 0, and it's probably going to stay that way, unfortunately, because I don't know. I would need to orbit 1 time in order to get this scientist to level 1, but we're not going to be orbiting Kerbal. We're just going to do like we did with this Sentinel probe. We're just going to lift off and just go straight on out from there. So, but yeah, basic, I guess I should show you. Just open these back up. So as usual, I have a Hex 2 probe here, and he's supposed to have an antenna. Let me add an antenna to that. For control. So nothing special about that. And then we have our standard science setup. I have a science junior. We don't need this. That doesn't work in space. I have a science junior, mystery goo, the gravitron, or magnetometer boom, and temperature and pressure. And I'm going to try to grab all these when I'm in low Kerbal space, store them get out to high Kerbal space and store them again, and then we'll head on out to our solar orbit, because I can process this data in the different orbit, and it should be new science for us. So we're going to do that. I've got 2 of these Communitron antennas, and I put 2 of these Gigantor solar arrays on. Now we're not bringing this back, so there's no parachutes or anything. We're just using the cabin or the Mark III capsule for the 3 extra seats we need for the contract. So that should do it. I wanted to put some bracing on the boosters because they're going to wobble if I don't. Like so. Like so. And then I'm going to auto strut this so that, oh, one more thing, I need to put some separatrons on these booster stages. Okay, let's rebuild this fairing right quick. Oh. There we go. Might as well make it fancy colored. Can we do that with this too? Okay, well, I can't do anything with those. Okay. So just go over the staging again, because these should be up here with the, so I need those there and these here. So what we've got is our main booster, or our boosters. They'll separate, the separatrons will fire, and the main engine will fire. And then we'll separate the fairing at some point, and then once this is empty, we'll separate here, and then this will be our section here. Oh, and I should also mention, I do have a clampatron on top here that should satisfy the contract, because we had to have, I think, just one. Let's see, 5 Kerbals, 5,000 units electric charge. We have plenty of electric charge, maintain stability. Antenna, docking port, and can generate power. Okay, we have all that. So I think we're good to go here. Let me just double check the crew, because they like to switch around on me. Okay, I have 2 scientists on board, so should be all we need. Let us get this thing going. Now I am going to stay with the launch phase here. Just so you can see, because we're not going to go into orbit, we're just going to go straight up and straight to our destination. So throttle up, SAS on, and fire. I got lucky. I should have put a bracing on there to keep this from tipping over on the launch pad. Forgot about that. Oops. Could have lost our new scientist there. Alright, I'm going to start listing over a little. I'm going to get this over to about the 5-degree mark, and let the SAS take over. So I did test this in my test world, just to make sure the delta, we had enough delta V to do it all. Of course, I did make one error. I did my burn and got my the orbit that I wanted, and so I fast forwarded to my periapsis so that I could correct my apoapsis side. And when I got out there, I realized I did not extend my antennas, so I could not control the craft. I didn't have any pilots on board. I think just for a test I ran just the 2 engineers or something, but they could not deploy the antenna, so I could not finish my burn to get my orbit like I wanted it. So I got to remember that here. I don't want to forget the antennas. Alright, clean separation into stage 2. And now we're going to go, I'm going to kill the engine. I'm going to go out kind of quick because we'll run out of time here. Pull way back out and get this burn started here. Okay, so there we go. I want to shoot for about 11 million. That is, I'm going to go ahead and start turning this towards my target there. Because we have to start firing like right now. Let's deploy the fairing and launch. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and extend the antennas. I thought I had this auto strut. I guess to the root part helps, because it was swaying and bouncing a good bit there. I'm not going to deploy the solar panels just yet because we have plenty of electric charge to get us there, and I don't want this thrust. I don't know if it would be enough to mess those solar arrays up or not. Now, one thing I forgot to do was run my science. It's a little too late now. We'll have to catch the other science. Well, I might still be able to get it. I meant to do it on a action group. I'm going to have to go back out here and watch my apoapsis. Or periapsis, rather. Turn these off. What is all this? I don't know what all this is. Alright, that should be close enough. Let us get out here. See if we can finish up this science right quick before we get out of range of low. I think as long as I'm under 250,000, I'm still considered near Kerbin. Yeah, near Kerbin. Get the barometer. And the temperature. Alright, so I've got the material study, the goo. I want to get a crew report. If I can do a crew report. Alright, well, let me see. Can I transfer crew? Just transfer a Bobski to the capsule. Then get a crew report. And then I need to EVA Bobski. I want to get an EVA report. Let's see. I did not bring... I can't do the other science. But oh well. And I have to collect this data from everything. Let's see, is it on the bottom? Yeah. So let us collect. Well, actually, I don't have to do that. I think it's already been stored. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I can reset this where it doesn't cost me any electricity to do it. And now when I go into the when I go into this section, it should let me take that crew report. If I look at review data, that was the EVA report. So I guess it didn't grab the crew report. That's the only thing I don't know. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh, he did level up. I don't know what caused the other scientist to level up, but well, I think we're in a new area where I can do this again. I should be far above, high over Kerbal, so we can store that. I'm glad we don't have to get out and collect all this. The only thing I have to do is an EVA report. So let's close these doors, because I put my instruments right on top of the doors there. And my magnetometer report. Now we may have so much data that we may not be able to do the science out at the solar orbit until we process some of this data. EVA report. So I'm going to grab that, and then I'll board back up. And there's the EVA report. High over Kerbal. So we currently have 276 data stored out of 750, so maybe we can go ahead and do the other data as well when we get out there. I'm going to go ahead and clean those experiments, deploy these panels. And now let us get out here. I want to see, what is all this stuff here? It's tracking all these. I didn't want to track. Okay, that's it. I don't know if I went over this. I'll talk about it in a minute. But I don't know if I figured out when I go to the tracking station, now that I have the Sentinel deployed, there's a new icon where it says track. And I can select an unknown and I can track, and then it will show up here. So it will actually give me, like, I can track this in the tracking station now, and I can do a maneuver. I can intercept one of these unknowns now. So, but we'll do that in another episode. For now, I want to get out here to my periapsis and correct this burn here, this orbit. So this is going to be a prograde burn. I'm going to bring that down to 10.996 right there. Okay, I'm going to have to fast forward 222 days, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so here we are, about 20 seconds out, and I've already got the contract completed notification, so got our 500,000 credits. That's awesome. And all I want to do now is get this thing circularized, and we can do some more science. It is a 1 minute 42 second burn. We're going to use up the rest of this. And look at that atomic engine burn. So I'm going to finish this orbit, and I'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. I'm drawing in on the mark here. I'm just looking for 10.996. It's close enough, 10.994 by 10.996. So that is a nice circular orbit around our star. And I happen to notice both of our scientists are now level 2. So I guess orbiting the sun also leveled them up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the science again. I want to make sure we've got room for the data. So let's do the magnetometer boom first and see what we get off of that, because that's probably going to be a pretty big chunk of data there. High over the sun, 450. But it's the data size is only 45, so that's not terrible. So we should be able to do everything. I think the magnetometer is probably the biggest data size. Yeah, that one's 10. Material study 25. So close those doors. See what's the barometric pressure out here by the sun and the temperature. Alright, so I'm going to also do the crew report. I want to see if that actually works. So we'll take a crew report. I could transmit it back, but this just sends it straight to the lab apparently. Okay. So now that was Bob. Should be able to EVA. We can do an EVA report while we're out here. And then I'm going to just manually move him back to the science section. And now I should have that, yeah, right here. That's another 80. So our total data, we have 502 data on board now. And so really all that's left to do is start the science. So we'll start our research, and we'll have to check back in with this one from time to time, make sure we don't forget about it, but that should generate a good chunk of science for us right there. And we still have 1600 delta V. I don't know if that would ever be enough to get close to the sun, because I think we've got to be 610 kilometers is considered near the sun. I just don't think we would ever be able to do that. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to put a maneuver node here. If we were to burn retrograde, we could maybe get an elliptical orbit that would let us get in close. No, that's already 2400. Yeah, it would require, if we're trying to get a periapsis of, what I say, 610 kilometers, that's 200, we'd have to get way... That's 300, is that a decimal? That's 347 kilometers. That's 563, that's close to 600, so it would take 8,000 delta V to get to this point. That's just one side. And then once you got that, you would have to burn, if you wanted to get an actual tight orbit, you would have to then pull in the other side. So yeah, it takes quite a bit of delta V to do that, so we won't be doing that. But I don't know, it's going to take a while to process this data, and then we may just, I don't know, it may just be a permanent habitat out here for these two, or maybe we'll try to move them somewhere else. But anyway, let me show you, while I'm thinking about it, that tracking station from the last episode. So if you go into the tracking station after you put the Sentinel probe in orbit, you can look, let's clear out some of this mess. So if I select, so we have these objects here. If I click on one of them, I can now go to track, and it shows me the orbit of this object. And it was giving me a name earlier. Oh, I have to toggle. So if I have this space objects toggled, so now I get an actual designator. But I wanted to show that because I didn't really go over it in last episode. I wasn't really sure how the tracking station, how the Sentinel probe worked. But apparently you don't have to wait for it to, I mean, it may have found more objects. I don't know if we had this many. We're up to 16 objects right now. I don't know if we had that many before or not, but it may be finding more. But at least now we can track and try to intercept with one of these at some point whenever we get ready to do that. So, wanted to show that while I was thinking about it. And so that marks off another one of our goals. We now have our one of our goals is get an orbital science station around the star. So we've done that. I'll plug in the date and all that later. But for now, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, there should be a window in your top right of your screen, so you can click on that and go back to the playlist. I also have starting to put up a few chess videos if you're interested in that. I'm not very good at chess, so you can watch me suck. And over here in the top left, there's a subscribe button, so if you want to subscribe and follow my progress, you can just click the link there and it will take you to the, it'll subscribe to my channel. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.